Welcome to English Vocabulary Official. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel for more interesting and beautiful stories.
Listen carefully.
Tom Smith was a nice young man. He wanted a job, but he couldn't find one. Many people wanted to work, and there weren't many jobs. Tom Smith was a desperate young man, his once bright eyes now clouded with desperation and defeat. He scoured the streets day after day, begging for a job that seemed to never come. The competition was fierce. Every person he passed on the street hoping for the same thing, a chance to earn a living. But as each passing day turned into weeks, Tom's hope began to dwindle until it was nothing more than a flicker in the darkness of his mind. Survival was becoming an impossible dream in this harsh world where jobs were scarce and opportunities even scarcer. As the days went by, Tom's desperation only grew stronger. He had no family to rely on, no savings to fall back on. All he had was his determination to survive in this unforgiving world. He spent long hours at the job center hoping for a miracle that never seemed to come. The few job listings available were either too far away or required qualifications he didn't possess. With each rejection, Tom's spirit sank lower and lower. He began to struggle to make ends meet. His small savings were quickly dwindling and he could barely afford food or rent. Fear of becoming homeless loomed over him like a dark cloud. Tom tried everything he could think of: odd jobs, selling his belongings, even asking for help from strangers, but nothing seemed to work. No one wanted to hire an inexperienced young man with nothing but determination and a high school diploma. Despair set in as Tom realized that survival was becoming an impossible dream in this harsh world where jobs were scarce and opportunities even scarcer. But just when he thought all hope was lost, a small glimmer of light appeared on the horizon. He received a call from a local restaurant offering him a position as a dishwasher. It wasn't the most glamorous job, but it was something. With gratitude in his heart, Tom accepted the job offer and vowed to work hard and prove himself worthy of the opportunity given to him. For Tom Smith, this meant more than just a job. It meant survival and a chance at rebuilding his life. And he was determined to make the most of it. But as he stood there, his determination wavered. He wasn't sure if this was the right path to take. Doubts crept into his mind and he couldn't shake them off. What if it all goes wrong? What if he fails? Still, there was a small spark of hope that made him want to push forward despite the uncertainty. He would make the most of this opportunity, even if it meant facing his fears head on. With a determined glint in his eyes, he vowed to seize this opportunity without hesitation, even if it meant confronting the demons that had long haunted him. He steeled himself and took a deep breath, ready to charge forward into the unknown. This was his chance to prove himself, to conquer his fears and emerge victorious. The weight of responsibility sat heavy on his shoulders, but he was determined not to let it hold him back any longer. With each step he took, he could feel the adrenaline pumping through his veins, fueling his determination and pushing him towards success. This was his moment, and he would make the most of it no matter what it took. Tom took a deep breath as he stepped into the restaurant, ready to start his first day on the job. The kitchen was a flurry of activity, with chefs shouting orders and waiters buzzing around with plates of food. Tom felt a pang of nervousness as he made his way over to the sink area where he would be working. He had never worked in a restaurant before and had no experience in a fast-paced kitchen environment, but he was determined to learn quickly and prove himself capable. The head chef, an intimidating man with tattoos covering his arms, gave him a quick rundown of his responsibilities: washing dishes, keeping the kitchen clean, and helping out wherever needed. Tom nodded eagerly, taking in every word. As the day went on, Tom worked tirelessly at his new job. His hands were pruned from being constantly submerged in hot water, but he didn't complain. He scrubbed every dish until it sparkled and kept the sink area spotless. Despite his best efforts, Tom couldn't help but feel like an outsider in this bustling world of waiters and chefs who seemed to know each other so well. He didn't fit in with their inside jokes or understand their conversations about food and wine. But as the hours passed by, something unexpected happened. Tom began to feel like part of the team. The head chef even praised him for his hard work and attention to detail. With each passing day, Tom's confidence grew, and he learned more skills in the kitchen. He started assisting with food prep tasks and even got to try his hand at cooking some simple dishes. But it wasn't just about learning new skills. This job was giving him a sense of purpose and belonging that he hadn't felt in a long time. He no longer felt like an aimless wanderer struggling for survival. He was now an integral part of something bigger than himself. And as for those fears that had plagued him before, they were fading away with each passing day. Tom realized that he was capable of so much more than he had ever given himself credit for. He was no longer just a dishwasher, but a valued member of the kitchen staff. The head chef even started to give him more responsibility, allowing him to assist with plating dishes and creating new recipes. Tom's passion for cooking grew as he learned from the experienced chefs around him and experimented with flavors and techniques. His coworkers also became his friends, inviting him out for drinks after work and sharing their own stories and struggles. Tom felt a sense of camaraderie with them, knowing that they all worked hard together to make the restaurant successful. But despite his newfound happiness at work, Tom couldn't shake off the constant worry about his financial situation. He was barely making enough to cover his rent and basic necessities, let alone save up for his dream of opening his own restaurant one day. One night, while washing dishes after a busy dinner rush, Tom overheard the head chef talking to one of the waiters about an upcoming cooking competition with a cash prize of $10,000. The winner would also have their dish featured on the restaurant's menu for a month. Tom's mind raced with possibilities. If he were to win this competition, it could jumpstart his dream and bring him one step closer to opening his own restaurant. But before he could gather the courage to ask the head chef if he could compete in the competition, he was approached by one of the waiters who handed him a flyer for a local food festival happening in 2 weeks. The flyer stated that there would be a cook-off competition similar to the one at work, and the grand prize was $5,000. Tom saw this as a sign and immediately decided to enter both competitions. He spent every spare moment outside of work perfecting his dishes and asking his coworkers for feedback. He also used his limited budget to buy ingredients. The next 2 weeks were a blur for Tom. He spent every spare moment outside of work perfecting his dishes and asking his coworkers for feedback. He also used his limited budget to buy ingredients and practice cooking in his small apartment kitchen. The day of the competitions arrived, and Tom was nervous but excited. He had prepared 2 different dishes for each competition, one that he had been working on for months, and a new one that he came up with specifically for the competitions. To his surprise, Both of his dishes won first place in their respective competitions. The judges and audience were blown away by the flavors and presentation of Tom's dishes. Not only did he win a total of $15,000, but his dish would also be featured on the restaurant's menu for a month. The head chef was impressed and offered Tom a raise in recognition of his talent. Tom couldn't believe it. In just 2 short weeks, he had gone from being a struggling dishwasher to winning 2 cooking competitions and earning a significant amount of money. He was overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. But more importantly, this experience gave him the confidence to believe in himself and pursue his dream even more passionately. With the prize money, he could now save up for opening his own restaurant much faster than before. From that day on, Tom continued to work hard at the restaurant while also setting aside time to plan for his future business venture. And every time he felt discouraged or scared about taking such a big risk, he looked back at those 2 weeks where everything fell into place and reminded himself that anything is possible if he puts in the effort. Months went by and Tom eventually left the restaurant to open up his own successful eatery. It wasn't easy. There were challenges along the way. But Tom persevered because he knew that nothing worth having comes easy. He often thought back to those days when he was just a dishwasher, feeling lost and afraid. Now, he was a successful chef and business owner, living his dream, and Tom couldn't believe how far he had come in just a few short years. From being a struggling dishwasher to now being a successful chef and business owner, living his dream and making a name for himself in the culinary world. But Tom was grateful for every step of it. He worked tirelessly at his own restaurant, pouring his heart and soul into every dish he served. And people noticed soon enough. The restaurant was buzzing with customers who couldn't get enough of Tom's delicious creations. But as much as he loved running his own restaurant, Tom also wanted to give back to the community that had supported him throughout his journey. So he started offering cooking classes for underprivileged youth, teaching them basic cooking skills and showing them that anything is possible with hard work and determination. Tom also made an effort to use locally sourced ingredients in his dishes, supporting small farmers and businesses in the area. He believed in giving back to the community that had given him so much. With all of this success came more opportunities. Tom was invited to guest judge on cooking shows and participate in food festivals across the country. He even wrote a cookbook featuring some of his most popular dishes from the restaurant. Through all of this, Tom remained humble and grateful for the opportunities that came his way. He never forgot where he came from and always made sure to pay it forward whenever he could. As time went on, Tom's restaurant became more than just a place to eat. It became a gathering place for friends and family, a favorite spot for special occasions, and a symbol of hope for those who dreamed of pursuing their passions. Looking back on those 2 weeks when everything changed for him, Tom knew that it was not just luck or coincidence. It was a combination of hard work, determination, and the support of others that helped him turn his dreams into reality. And as he stood in his restaurant kitchen, surrounded by the hustle and bustle of happy customers and dedicated staff, Tom couldn't help but feel a profound sense of gratitude. The aroma of sizzling butter filled the air, mingling with the fragrant herbs and spices that adorned the dishes he prepared with such care. Each day brought new challenges and triumphs, but Tom faced them head-on, fueled by the passion that burned within him. His restaurant had become a sanctuary, a place where people could escape the demands of their daily lives and indulge in culinary delights that transcended mere sustenance. One evening, as the sun began to set and cast a warm glow over the restaurant, Tom found himself reflecting on his journey. It had been a whirlwind of excitement and growth, but it hadn't come without sacrifice. He remembered the late nights spent perfecting recipes, the early mornings spent sourcing fresh ingredients from local farmers, and the countless hours he invested in honing his craft. There were moments of doubt and exhaustion, but each setback only fueled his determination to succeed. In the midst of his success, Tom hadn't forgotten the lessons he had learned as a dishwasher. He kept a photo tucked away in his wallet, a reminder of where he had started and how far he had come. Whenever self-doubt crept in, he would take out that photo and let it serve as a beacon of hope. Tom's dedication to giving back never wavered. His cooking classes for underprivileged youth flourished, with students discovering their own passion for food under his guidance. He witnessed their transformation as they grew more confident in their abilities, realizing that they too could chase their dreams. The impact of his restaurant extended beyond its walls.